Hey guys, what's up? Back with another video. This time we got an ECW DVD review, so let's get this on the way, shall we? We got Guilty as Charged from 2001, the final ever ECW pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just get this on the way, shall we? We kicked off the show with Joey Styles and, what's his name? I forgot his name. the greasy stud muffin, Joe Girdner. I think it's Joe Girdner. Jesus. Joe Girdner getting involved, thingy introducing the show and, to make some rude gestures, as they usually do. They introduced Christian York and Joey Matthews for the first contest, who was supposed to face Cyrus and Jerry Lynn, but, Cyrus, but before the match starts, they were attacked by two bald guys, who I later found out are called the Baldies, which is very interesting. Yeah. And then basically, they get beaten up. Joey Matthews and Christian York get beaten up, and then Cyrus and Jerry Lynn basically come out and do one move and get the pin. So wasn't really much of a match. Wasn't really much of an opening match, but it was what it was. More of an opening segment. It was fine. It was a fun opening segment for the heels to get the advantage going into later on in the night. So, pretty bizarre opening to the pay-per-view, but it was what it was. Anyway, the next match on the card, we had the hot camaraderies of Jolo Dinero and, was he, this G's Money? Well, 1 second. It was Easy Money, there we go, Easy Money. Also, by the way, before I forget, there's the disc. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's get off underway. So we had the hot camaraderies of Jolo Dinero and Easy Money versus Danny Doring and Roadkill for the tag team titles. This was pretty good match. Roadkill looked awesome. I don't really know the other two very well, the others very well. I think I know Julio Dinero from his team was CM Punk in the early days of TNA. I think that's him anyway. But yeah, there's pretty fine stuff. It was alright. And the baby faces get the win. Danny Doring and Roadkill get the win. Pretty good stuff. It was alright. Then we had it went straight into the next match. We had Chris Hamerick. Sorry guys, I'm not really good at names. Chris Hamerick taking on Nova. This was alright. I found Nova is Simon Dean. I didn't know that until recently. It was pretty good. It was pretty good stuff. I didn't like the ending of this match. The ending of this match was basically Chris Chetti came in. The referee got knocked down, so Chris Chetti came in and did a fast pin. And we found out that he had lost a loser leaves town match to Nova, so he was trying to screw Nova. And and he came out with like a fake Paul Heyman who was like signed Dudley or something. It's very confusing when you're not really up to date with your old, with your ECW stuff. It kind of was a bit confusing for me. Now I know how a lot of other people feel when they're watching other stuff, you know what I mean? Anyway, so I thought I was confused whether the match or not was over, and then it turned out the match wasn't over, that the heels tried to cheat. And then Spike Dudley came out, and the match ended up continuing, and Spike Dudley ended up doing the pinfall as the ref for the babyface Nova. So, pretty confusing ending, but it was a fine match. It was what it was. It was what it was. Anyway, C.W. Anderson taking on Tommy Dreamer in an I Quit match that was up next. Vicious, as you can expect, it's a Tommy Dreamer, anything goes match, very hardcore weapons, blood, barbed wire. Even a towel boy got involved, the person who towels down the ropes. He got involved in the match. It was crazy. Tommy Dreamer putting his body through hell. Sorry, my nose is running today, so I got a bit of a runny nose. Alright, I'm okay. But yeah. Yeah, it was pretty fun. CW Ends and Tommy Dreamer, they had a fun match, and yeah, it was with typical I Quit stuff, and yeah, it was very decent stuff. And Tommy gets the win after putting the table wire over CW Enson's eyes, and basically doing like a crossface and making him tap, making him say I quit. So pretty vicious stuff. Is everything you expect from an I Quit match. Good, big thumbs up for that one. Anyway, next match we had a freeway dance tag team matchup. We had Tajiri and Mikey Whipwreck taking on Kid Cash and Super Crazy, taking on the FBI's Nunzio and Little Guido and the other guy. What's the other guy called? Where the fuck is it? Sorry guys, I'm not really good. Tony Mamaluke. There we go. Sorry guys. Forgot his name for a moment. Tony Mamaluke. This is pretty good stuff. Pretty good multi-man matchup. It was fun. Fun multi-man matchup. Whipwreck and Jerry get the win. After the FBI and Big Sal got involved and they eliminated Super Crazy and Kid Cash by squashing Kid Cash. That was pretty fun. It was okay. And then, of course, it came down to FBI and to Jerry and Mikey Whipwreck, and it was pretty good stuff from there. And Mikey Whipwreck and Jerry get the win. And, yeah, big good stuff. They become the number one contenders. I don't think they ever got that title match, did they? Because this is the final ECW pay-per-view. Unless it happened on TV. Then the next match. On to the next match, we had Simon Diamond and Johnny Swinger taking on Chili Willy and Bulls Mahoney. Yeah, Chili Willy, I actually thought that I was a bit confused myself when I saw that. This wasn't really much of a match. They just barely got started, and the Man Beast Rhino came out and just destroyed everybody and gored Dawn Marie and then gave a power driver to one of the Blue Meanies women. So, yeah, it wasn't really much of a match. It wasn't really a match at all. Like, it was a good way to get Rhino over, but, crazy ECW going a million miles an hour and you gotta try to keep up. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I had sometimes during this show I had trouble trying to keep up because I was trying to figure out what was going on. I was like, okay, so why is this happening? So, it was a bit confusing, but, it was what it was. Anyhow, next match, we had Sandman taking on Steve Corino, taking on Just Incredible for the ECW Championship in a tables, ladders, chairs, and canes match. Basically, it was basically a TLC match where you just had to grab the title from the ladder. It was typical ladder match stuff, bonkers, crazy, balls to the wall action. They kicked the shit out of each other. They took a lot of insane bumps, through tables and chairs and ladders. Sandman broke one of the ladders, which was kind of funny. They only had two ladders, three ladders. Joey Styles said that they only had two ladders, and then they found a big, massive ladder underneath the ring, so that was pretty fun. And, yeah, basically what happened at the end is Just Incredible and Steve Corino took themselves out, and Sandman was able to climb up the ladder and get the win, so pretty cool stuff. Like that. Big thumbs up. Which immediately goes into the next match, where Rhino attacks Sandman after the match, and basically, gives him a gore, and then tells him that he wants the ECW title because he is the television champion. Rhino is the television champion, but he wants the world championship because ECW has no television anymore. So what's the point of being the TV champion if there's no TV? So Rhino wants the world title. Pretty logic explanation. Anyway, Sandman says F off. You're not having a match. But Rhino threatens his family and says that either you give me a world title shot or Rhino said he's going to kill his family basically. And so Sandman gives him the match, and it literally goes about 2 minutes. Rhino gives him a power driver through the table, gives him a gore through the table, power drives him on the edges of the table, and then pins him. So it wasn't really much of a match. It was more of an angle more than a thingy. I love the fact that Rhino was able to, the diabolical Rhino was able to get the Sandman to give him a title shot just after Sandman had won it. And, it was what it was. And then that immediately went into the main event because no time to let it breathe. Cyrus came out, Don Callis, and he was like, anyone from any other company can't beat this man, beast Rhino, blah, 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 the usual spill. And out comes Rob Van Dam, who makes his big giant return. I have no idea, I'm not really up to date with my history of ECW, so I assume he'd been somewhere, so. And, he comes out, he gets face to face with Rhino, but oops, it's a swerve. Out comes Jerry Lynn, and Jerry Lynn beats up Rob Van Dam, and that leads to the main event right now. Right this second, we have Jerry Lynn versus Rob Van Dam for the in the main event, and as it was very solid main event. It was typical Jerry Lynn, Rob Van Dam stuff. If you've ever seen these two have a match, whether it was in 2001, 1998, 1997, whatever, blah blah, even 2011 in their TNA. You would know that these two had really good matches together. They could probably have a good match in their sleep, and this was no different. It was very typical RVD versus Jerry Lynn match, and it was fantastic. And the heels got their comeuppance, and Rob Van Dam was able to get the win and end the show on a very high note. For the babyface who's getting the win. So pretty cool stuff. Anyway, that was the show. Sorry that my mind seems to be all over the place, as I said. My history of ECW and my nose is driving me crazy today and all that stuff, so, it was pretty decent stuff. I gave it a 7 out of 10, the show. I gave the show a 7 out of 10. Pretty decent stuff. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Sorry about my nose again, and I'll see you again next time. And I'm out. Kaboom!